Welcome to Parentless Podcast. Please note that in this show you may hear graphic descriptions or language that may not be appropriate for everyone. Listener discretion advised.
Oh, is this your mom?
That's my mom, yeah. I just posted that actually because I found it and I was like, that is funny. She's pretty sick there. Well, her hair's growing back, but she wasn't well.
You don't happen to still have that necklace that you had in that picture?
Oh yeah, I think I have that, yeah.
This is a fact production, you city.
Little oval face that makes me sad comes and goes by. Could wrote the book of Joe instead. Oh, to go now. Heavy eyes, so help me make this bed over and over. Tell me what it takes to make you stay so lonely.
My dad's name is Michael John Meyer. He went by Mike or Dr. M. He was a professor, and he had an ego, so he liked being called doctor. Yeah.
Okay. How old was he when he passed away, and what happened with him?
Yeah, so he was 67 when he died. I was 35. No, I was 36. Yeah, I was 30. I had just turned 36. So yeah, he had two cancers prior to this, but they were all separate cancers, which apparently is super rare. No metastasis. He had throat cancer a little over 5 years prior to his last diagnosis. And he had gone in, I think it was somewhat routine, but he wasn't feeling right. So this would have been in late fall, early winter of 2010. And, they, in between, Christmas and New Year's, he received the diagnosis that he had esophageal cancer and that he had 2 years to live.
Did he smoke or anything?
No, but so the doctors actually asked him that because he had throat cancer too. And he was like, no, he never did. He never was a smoker, but his father, was like a 2-pack a day smoker. But when he was growing up, like I never knew him as a smoker. He stopped at, but when my dad was growing up, he was in World War II. And I think, it was just something that they did back then in the 40s and 50s. It was a social thing. And, but by the time my dad was grown, no one in my family smoked, but the doctors thought that perhaps because of the amount he might have been exposed to, that it could have been that. So interesting. It could have been secondhand. I don't know. Yeah. So he went and got the diagnosis, and then he went in towards the end of January, went in to get a port put in for treatment because he was going to do maintenance treatment. And he went in for this very routine outpatient procedure, and he never went home. So he ended up having some reaction to that. He got very sick, like fever sick. And so he was in the hospital, and then they transferred him to like a care facility where he could recover and ultimately go home. That was their thought. And he ended up going from that care facility into hospice, and he died March 7th of 2011. So it was very fast. Like 3 months. Yeah. Is that 3? No, like less than that, like 2.5 months there. Yeah. It was really shocking.
With your dad dying in March and your mom's death anniversary being in April, do you find those 2 months significantly harder for you?
My relationship with my dad was extremely complicated, and there was a lot of pain there. So the year prior to him dying, a year and a couple months prior to his diagnosis, I had made the choice to actually set a boundary with him, and that he needed some help in regards to his life. He had an addiction that he was dealing with, and I told him that he either needed to get help or he couldn't be in my life. And so he chose to not get help, and he just denied the issue. So that year prior, I hadn't even really spoken to him. I hadn't. I mean, I actually had gave birth to my son, my oldest son. So he did know about my son Zion and the birth. I sent him pictures, but I hadn't seen him, and we had no real communication, for a year and a couple months prior to his diagnosis. So, and I say about that year that is the year I grew up, So there were some really good things that's a different conversation, but it's true. Like, I finally set a boundary with him that I was incapable of prior to that. And it changed my life in a really positive way, because I think I was always looking to him for some sort of validation. And, I was looking to him for things he was incapable of giving me. And so when I finally released that was really positive. So what I'm trying to say is that March 7th does not hold a lot of meaning for me, to be honest with you. I think a lot about if he were still here, and, I have a feeling it still would be really, really hard. So while I'm certainly, would never wish that he were dead, right? I don't think that things would have changed if he were alive. So, yeah. No, I mean, March is not typically challenging for me. I acknowledge it, but not in the same way that I do my mom's death date and anniversary. I think a lot of healing happened for me in that year that I was estranged from him. And then I think once he died, I felt a lot of forgiveness. And I was with him the 3 days before he died, and he actually told me he was sorry. And, I don't know how, at the time I was like, what, it's very convenient to do that when you're dying. And, the expectation is that the person will say, of course, I forgive you, So I think it was as genuine as it could be for my dad. But I don't know.
I don't want you to get too far without me forgetting to ask. So when he said he was sorry, what was your response?
Yeah, I said, thank you. Yeah, I forgive you. Yeah. And he told me he loved me and he was proud of me, which he really did not say that to me. I mean, he would tell me he loved me, but not that he was proud of me. So that I appreciated that in that moment. Did I fully forgive him? I mean, again, I think I kind of felt like that was a convenient time to say that. And I wish it would have happened in a different way and been more meaningful and maybe had real impact on our lives and our relationship, but there wasn't an opportunity for that. But I think what I wanted to say, and I said this to you when I wrote my thoughts down prior to us talking, is that I came to a place of being so hurt by his actions for so long and so angry. It's really exhausting to hold on to anger. It's so exhausting. But finally coming to the understanding, and really from what I've learned about trauma, that his actions really had nothing to do with me. And they had everything to do with his own wounds and his own pain and the struggles he had, and so that really allowed me to say, wow, like I felt empathy for him, and I felt sorry for him that he was hurt that way, and that, he did the best he could with what he had, with the skills that he had. And then I think when that happened, that also opened me up to say, well, he did, for so long I was like, he just was a jerk. And, but it allowed me to actually say, well, actually I have a lot of interest because of him, like singing. My dad was a singer. Like that interest, I think, is from him, influenced by him for sure. Musicals. I love musicals. My dad was in musicals, and he was a John Steinbeck scholar. So I love John Steinbeck. I mean, those are things that my dad gave me. Those were gifts to me. And so I think since he died, I've been able to acknowledge those things in a way that I never could have when he was alive, because I was so angry. I was so angry. Anyway, thank you for letting me add that. So coping mechanism. I mean, I have over the years done many things, but I think my go-to is right now is journaling, writing. I want to write more. So that is a gift when I do it. I've been doing this daily journaling in the morning, which has been amazing. And then listening to music is just so healing for me, and singing along to music. And then I really just being with my kids, like intentional time, right? Not just like going on errands, but being present. I mean, of course, there's also the negative coping mechanisms, which I've participated in, but not, I mean, mostly it's just if I have a drink, right, to escape, but that's never been something that's like I've used in a way that's unhealthy, right? So, but I guess I should acknowledge that as something too that I use.
So I'm interested in your morning journaling. Is this because I'm about to start some sort of something? Is it gratitude journaling, or what is it when you sit down in the morning to journal? What do you do? Okay.
Well, it would be a plug for another.
Sure. Yes, please.
Well, she doesn't have a podcast, but she's on social media, but the.holistic.psychologist.
Okay.
And she does, can I pull it up real quick?
Mm-hmm.
It's life changing. It's life giving. So her focus is trauma work. And she really like acknowledges that basically all humans walking around have experienced trauma. So we're all like walking around wounded, and, you know, a lot of us aren't doing the work. And so it's called future self journaling. Okay. I'm going to be honest. She came out with a new version of it, but I'm still doing the old version, because I was doing it for several months, and, you know, you just get into it and you like it. And so you start at the beginning by writing out or answering 3 specific questions. And then that's like at the start of it all. And then you start doing your daily future self journaling. So it starts with my daily affirmation. And then today I will focus on shifting my pattern of, and then you say, I am grateful for 3 traits that my future self will have. The person I am becoming will experience more. And I have an opportunity to be my future self today the last one is when I think about who I am becoming, I feel. Doing that daily, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy the shift that I have felt. I mean, I think it's been like 4 months that I've done it. It matters. It makes a difference. It's like it's shifting my brain and how I feel.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, I feel like I can handle thinking about that like once a month, but to think about it like every day, yeah, I can see how you would be kind of pushed to grow.
Yeah. I can see that little shift in your shoulders right there. You're like, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about gratitude journaling, it's like, 5 things you're grateful for. Do it, put it away. Yeah. How long does that take you?
Like 10 minutes. It's not long.
Yeah.
It's not long. I can send you a link to her.
Okay. I pulled her up right here. I was looking at, but you can send me that and then I'll check out.
Her work it's every day. She's like the one Instagram page I have to go to every day to read what she posts, because I swear all of it resonates. And she has this focus on really like, you don't just making these small changes make a huge difference in your life. And also I want to tell you with the journaling, I don't allow myself to think about the answers. Whatever is the first thing that comes to my mind, I just write it down, because I feel like that's what is actually true for me in that day. So I don't really think about it. That's why it doesn't take me very long, because whatever comes in my mind, it's on the paper.
I try to do that, but then I start thinking about it and stuff. So anyway, I'm going to be doing some other writing things. So that's going to be helping me, hopefully. So maybe I'll start this too.
Okay. Wait, what is it? Can you share what it is?
I'm doing one, I guess this is not a writing thing, but it's just, so do you know Hope Edelman?
Oh,
Did she make an impact in your life?
well, yeah, her book changed my life, but she, and I mean, she was the first one who was like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. I was 19 when I read her book, but also we did last June. So June 2019, so a year and a half ago, she actually came here and did a pop-up workshop for our She Climbs Mountains community.
If you see her on Instagram, maybe you've seen this, or I don't know, but it's a month full. Well, not a month, but it's every Sunday in January.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start doing that. And then there's another person that I will be interviewing soon. She has a website called Grief is My Side Hustle.
Oh,
But she is doing like a writing workshop. So I haven't done much, but I'm not a writer. So it's super, super fun to kind of see what I can do and how that can help me. And I like how you use the word trauma a lot, because I think that's something we don't say. We just talk about grief or sadness or loss or anything like that. But these are traumatic events, especially when it happens when we're younger. So part of that, I feel like I didn't really start much of anything until, being older now. So yeah, just trying to start working on me now. So any tips and tricks that you have, that's awesome. So I'll check out this lady, and that'll be really awesome. And then I think also too, with listeners are always probably wanting more resources too. So Hope's book, I haven't read her book. Actually, just kind of, I didn't even know this whole thing. I didn't know this community was a thing until I started looking around. So, I didn't even know about Hope until like, 5 months ago. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's good. I think I've done some stuff with her, so I think you'll enjoy it.
I love how you are so very giving, I think. I mean, just be doing this with your time. You're spending your time to help other people, and that is great.
We'll be right back.
If you have a story you'd like to share, please give me a call at 623-396-6069. You don't even have to talk to me if you don't want to. You can leave a voicemail. You can send me a letter at parentlesspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for taking the time to stop in. If you'd like to support the show and have access to exclusive content, please visit www.patreon.com/parentlesspodcast.
So you're in the Minnesota area.
Yeah, just north of St. Paul, but we serve the Twin Cities metro area. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're here, you know what that means.
I was going to ask how you came up with She Climbs Mountains. So that was very important. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. So. I'm glad. Yeah. I think it can be confusing. So, because it is, but I had a couple of meaningful events happen that led me to that name. And so I'm like, I'm sticking with it. But interestingly, I actually went to REI like shortly after we launched, and I have this necklace that my daughter got for me off of, upside down. It's a mountains off of Etsy. So I'm wearing this at REI, right? So, that looks like probably I climb mountains. So the woman at checkout was like, I love your necklace. And I was like, well, thank you so much. And I'm like, my daughter gave it to me. I have a nonprofit that's called She Climbs Mountains. And she was like, oh, I bet my daughter would love to be a part of that. And I was like, no, actually, no, she wouldn't. So I said, we actually serve women whose moms have died. So that it probably isn't something you would want to refer her to right now, but it was awkward. I still, the name is meaningful to me. So we're sticking with it now.
What would you say to your parents now if you could?
Yeah. I think that I would, for my mom, I would just tell her how much I love her and how much I miss her. And also just how grateful I am to have had her for the time that I did, because I think who I am, so much is because of her. And, I think because of her loss, I am connected to so many amazing people. And I think that there's healing that's coming for many people from her loss. And so that makes me so grateful. So I want to tell her that. And my dad, I would say I forgive you. And I mean, I really do. And I love you. And also I'm thankful. I'm thankful even despite all of the pain, and the hurt. I'm thankful for what I was given by him. So from him, how do I say that? Yeah. You know what I mean. I'm emotional right now. So I'm tripping up over my words a little bit, but yeah, I'm really so grateful for both of them.
And then is there any particular smell, sight, taste, sound, anything that kind of makes you remember them?
My mom's favorite flower was lilies. So, and she died the day before Easter. So there were lilies everywhere at her funeral. So for sure, lilies. I mean, I have a tattoo of a lily because of it. And there were lilacs and lily of the valley, grew all around our home that I grew up in the Chicago area. So those smells, specifically lilacs, it just brings me back to my childhood and to her. And then she was big into making holiday cookies. So she made holiday cutout cookies. So doing that is like, just makes me feel so connected. Just even the taste in my mouth after we make that first batch, it's like me being with her again.
Do you make sure to do that with your kids?
Yeah, every year. Yep. Yeah. And they love it. It's even my 15-year-old, she still wants to do it. So her and her best friend, actually, whose mom recently died, she did it with us this year. She did it with us last year too. So it was fun to have her part of that tradition.
Good. Well, I just want to step in here and let you know that you are making a big difference in your daughter's friend's life. I mean, even if her mom hadn't passed away, I just remember my friends' moms and, so I just think I don't want that to go unsaid that you are making a difference in her life, even just having her there for the holidays and all of that. And going forward, it's going to mean so much more. So it's great that you're there for her. Thank you.
Why does sometimes that feel hard? Why does that feel hard to hear? But thank you. Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm going to just step off a ledge here and I'm going to say that maybe because you're stuck in, you're a 15-year-old. To me, I don't feel like I'm an adult. I don't feel like I have any place to be talking to anybody about anything. And so if you told me that I was going to be making an impression on someone's life, I mean, my kids, I do that all the time, but I don't know. I just feel like, who am I to be making an impression on anybody's life? But I promise you that you are. And when she's 35, you're going to be such a big part of her memories. Mm-hmm. So that's cool.
Making me cry some more. Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
I just think it's so important. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with myself right now, but I'm trying to realize that, my actions and I do make an impact on people, whether it be good or bad. And I think right now it's probably bad, but I think that I need to realize that and turn it into good. So I've been thinking about that a lot. So that's probably why I bring it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for sure, you doing this and offering a platform for people to talk about their grief and then also connecting people in this way, that is such a gift. And so I don't know. Yeah, you should accept that too, that you are doing that for so many people right now too, making an impact. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you as well. Okay. We did talk about Dad, with his musicals and,
yeah, those are the things that remind me of him. I mean, musicals, any music from musicals, or when there are new musicals, I'm like, oh, he would have loved that, And then there's some specific holiday music that he would play. Handel's Messiah every year. So I'll play that. No one wants to listen to it with me, but I do. I listen to it and it's good. Yeah.
Okay. So we're running down to our last two questions here, and you can give me as much or as little as you want. I asked, have you been to counseling or therapy? And you said yes, a lot. So if you'd like to expand on what that means for you, you can. If you don't want to, that's okay.
Well, after my mom died, I was actually required to go.
By who?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know I was made to go.
Okay.
My dad, probably. The school guidance counselor maybe said you really should get her into counseling. And I hated it. And I would just go in and talk about the boys I had crushes on.
Well, hey, you didn't have anywhere else to talk about them now.
That's
probably.
true. That's true. Yeah. But so also though, 2 years after my mom died, my dad had his first diagnosis with cancer, colon cancer. And so I was a junior in high school, and that was not good for me. And I ended up being clinically depressed. And I mean, I just basically thought, okay, now my dad's going to die too. Right. So I was actually hospitalized for depression. And so, full-time therapy there, group therapy, individual therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist, medication, family therapy. I mean, and I was there. Well, I was in treatment for 6 weeks.
You never left there for 6 weeks.
Well, I did get to sleep at home.
Oh, okay.
But I was there all, yeah. I didn't have to sleep over because I wasn't suicidal, but that probably actually wasn't true. I lied. Not funny. It's actually not funny, but, yeah. So I was there with, a group of other young people, and yeah, it changed my life. It saved my life. Actually. It was so good. It was so good. And then I was on, I was actually on antidepressants for a number of years. And with that, you're required, like, you have to at least check in with your psychiatrist when you're on medication, especially at that age. So all through the rest of high school and college. And I saw like a therapist on campus during college and in my 20s. And yeah, I've been off and on since I was 15. Yeah.
Would you recommend therapy?
Yes. That's a good question. Yes. If you're willing and open to doing the work. Yes. And I can't tell you what the work is because it depends on who you are, but right. You have to be willing to feel all of the feelings and kind of, you have to, that's the work, I guess, is diving into it. Yeah.
You have to be willing to feel all of the feelings. That is probably the best quote.
Oh, thank you.
So true. So true. The very last, I like how you wrote this one though. I don't know if you'll remember, but okay. So the very last question is there anything you would ask a counselor or a therapist if you had the chance? Yeah.
What you like how I wrote it? What did I say?
You talked about, well, I guess at the end of it, you said, trauma. So I guess I would ask, why didn't anyone mention trauma sooner?
Yeah. I didn't really acknowledge I didn't know that it would be appropriate to acknowledge what happened for me as trauma until really recently, in the last few years through a therapist that I was seeing, and not just my mom's death, but the things that with my dad getting sick. And then there were some really major things that happened with my dad related to his addiction. So in my senior year of high school and on, so I never thought of it that way. Well, also when you're in the midst of it, it's just your life. I mean, you probably feel this way as a 13-year-old losing your dad. It's just your life. So you're not really thinking about it as like, this is so abnormal or traumatic. You're just like, this is my life and I have to keep moving, because that's how your brain protects you when you're that age. You can't, if you knew the seriousness of it at that age, you probably couldn't make it. I don't know. Right. So, but now as an adult, knowing that those things that was trauma and that was traumatic, it has really shifted my understanding of like, there are so many things, Steph, that I don't remember in those first few years after my mom died. That's a trauma response. I didn't know that. So all this time I'm thinking something's wrong with me that I can't remember these huge blocks of time. But now that I understand that's normal when you experience trauma, like there's a feeling of like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know, normalcy maybe. Like this is normal for trauma to not remember things, right?
I kind of resonate with that because I don't remember some things as well. That's super interesting. Yeah, I need to learn some more about trauma. And I know there's some specific types of counseling that, do focus more on trauma, or even trauma when you were especially younger. Well,
one of the things that I was starting to do right before the pandemic hit was EMDR, which is the eye movement stuff. And honestly, because we haven't been able to meet in person, that has stopped. I know some counselors actually do it over Zoom or whatever, virtually. That isn't something I feel comfortable with, so I haven't done that. But for trauma, my understanding, again, I didn't get very far with it because we were just starting it, but is that is like a game changer for people who have experienced trauma.
You started it and you had to stop. You weren't given a choice. Do you feel like that's affected you at all? Or are you just kind of...
No, it's okay. I mean, we just had done like one practice, like this is what it feels like. So we hadn't even really dove into anything yet.
Okay.
So it was okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, very interested. I will be interested to find out once you get back into that.
Yeah.
And how that
it's on my list. Yeah. As soon as the clinic door opens where I can meet someone in person, I want to do it because the things I've heard are just, it's tremendous, the positive response to it. So why not, right? If there's a possibility. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've always kind of shied away from therapy because I don't really like to talk about myself to people, but I think throughout my learning from everyone I've talked to that I should probably try it at some point. So yeah, I like to hear about all the different options that there are for sure.
I want to tell you, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to talk with you and to share a little bit of my story. And I really hope to hear more about your story at some point when you're ready, because I feel like that would be awesome. I know I've tried to get some information out of you when we talked on the phone, but anyway, I just am really grateful. So thank you. And it's really fun to see your face, and it's just awesome to get to know you a little better too.
I would like to just take this time to thank you so much for the work that you do for your community in your town there, and then for the virtual community that you're now opening yourselves up to.
Thank you, Steph. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about it. And like I said before, it really is an honor to connect with so many people. I mean, I feel like I know so many people and I know so many moms. It's so cool. Like we're all connected now because of this. It's so awesome.
Thank you so much for telling me about Laura Lee and Mike. I do very much appreciate your time here with me.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Thanks.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Parentless is recorded in Phoenix, Arizona. Find us on social media and any podcast platform. Music provided by Colin the Coco and the Revolving Birds. Studio provided by Fat Kid Productions. Check out one of the many shows available on our network. I'm your host, Stephanie Relaford. Thank you for listening to Parentless.